roll back, Musa, roll back, family. Hope all is well with everyone, alright? Overstand all context to the one and only true Messiah, AMUN, RAYAY, right? Yahshua, Jesus Christ, right? Heru, right? Obatala, right? All that, right? Hardy Krishna, okay? All that, right? Kras, the Nuwapian Kras, Pamasu, right? Pamasa, right? It's here. Here on this page, we don't have long, family. August 12, 2030, right? New Jerusalem, Crystal City will be here on your planet Earth. Okay, understand that. This is real, all right? This is the real is real in your movie called life. Understand that, all right? Also, understand that 1 year is now 6 months, all right? 1 year is now 6 months, all right? So, understand that, all right? There's a dimensional shift taking place, aka a pole shift, another pole shift on the planet. All right. So, understand that's gonna cause a lot of tectonic calamity. Right. A lot of that's gonna cause some oceanic, calamity. Right. And then then you got some volcanic calamity. All right. So all the elements pretty much gonna be erupting, right? That's what's to come for this planet. And understand, August 12, 2030, New Jerusalem, Crystal City is gonna be here on the planet, all right, for judgment upon all these sick elites, right? Understand that, for judgment upon all these sick elites. So no, not the whole earth is gonna be destroyed. Understand that. All right, but a good bit of it, is gonna need some rebuilding. All right, okay, all right. If we haven't noticed it yet, we all are slaves. All right, we all have a number, right, and don't own anything. All right, understand that you don't own anything, and you work a job, a 9 to 5 all day, giving 110, and they won't give you $1.10 extra. On your paycheck, So really understand what's going on. Yeah, all right. We finna be set free. All right. And that's why we coming with this truth here, right? These triple RAYAYs, the truth, all right? All right, family. So, there's some of our family members, right? Because we all are family. Understand that. And, and something about that there. Understand that if you're not blonde haired and blue eyed, you are not what they consider Caucasian or Caucasus Asian or white. All right, understand that. Understand that. You're a mulatto, right? You're a mulatto, even if you have so-called white skin, right? And brown hair, right? And blue eyes or something. You're a mulatto. If you're not blonde haired and blue eyed, right? Understand, you are a mulatto. You are not Caucasus Asian, all right? And we can do a video on that, but just understand, right? But yeah, fam. So there's a lot of our family members out here, believe that 8 billion people we have now, or 9.1 billion, right, on this planet came from 2 people, right? Have never studied genetics, even if you want to include Cain and Abel, right? So we know where we're heading here. Because, if I start mating with my sister and so forth and on, by the 2nd and 3rd generation, we're going to have a whole bunch of people with disabilities, right? All types of disabilities, right? You can't make 8 billion people and, it's not enough genetic diversity, okay? We know this, right? So that's why, they had Adam and Eve, right? They had specific mating times, and the people that, you can mate with to make sure that they were not creating a small genetic pool. And once they figured out that worked, they said, okay, let's isolate them. Adam and Eve, Codman and the cable, right? To another part of the garden, right? And began to do this experiment with them. Adam, right, had Cain and Abel, and Yahweh aka Enlil, right, to check on his offerings, right? And one was bringing him the harvest and one was bringing him the lamb. And one got jealous because he kept taking the harvest, right, and killed his brother. All right, but there's another part to that. That's a piece of it, but this the real part of it, okay? Because overstand whenever you, let's say so Cain and Abel had sisters, right? So Cain is a disagreeable, so that means his sister would be an agreeable, all right? And Abel is an agreeable, so that means his sister, right, would be a disagreeable, all right? So Cain had to marry Abel's disagreeable sister, okay? And Abel had to marry Cain's agreeable sister. And Cain, right, didn't want to marry, a disagreeable, right? Right? We know about toxic women, right? He didn't want to deal with that, right? He was even disagreeable, so he didn't want to do that. So what he did, he killed his brother. He killed his brother. That was the first murder there. He killed his brother. Right? So Cain kills Abel, and God comes back like, he doesn't know this, like, what I'm saying? And Lil act like he ain't know this was gonna happen, right? He's supposed to be all knowing and omnipotent, but he doesn't know this happened yet. And all shocked that this happened, and he says, I gotta kick you out. I gotta kick you out the garden, cause you gotta go, right? So Cain, gotta go to the land of Nod, right? Which means sleep, okay? And needed an indicator to the people of Nod, because these people crazy, you hear me? It's like New York and Chicago and Brooklyn, just all these bad parts of the city in one place, all right? Understand that, all right? So that he's in the experiment, right? Or he's in Lil's property, right? Family really understand that the next big war will be a space war, all right? So they're gonna take these UAPs, these flying discs, right, and reverse engineer, all right, this alien craft, right, and they're gonna do a Gulf of Tonkin incident, right, like they did to launch the Vietnamese war, all right. They're gonna strike or blow up any vessel or something, allegedly, right, like that with one of these UAPs claim it wasn't ours, right? And claim it wasn't aliens, right? And then now we gotta be fearful of the aliens, right? Because they can attack us and they're gonna send trillions of dollars to black budget these projects like the Gardner Tunnel, all right? Check that out, allegedly, all right? And and that have no congressional oversight, and they're gonna take our money. We're gonna willingly give it to them because we are afraid of the aliens, allegedly, right? It's not my people perish due to a lack of knowledge. It's all people perish due to a lack of knowledge, right? Unlike the ancients, right? We already knew what modern science just discovered, that from a higher dimension, the past, present, and future exists all at once, right? That time is an illusion, all right? Right? And we know that time is an illusion because if we were to look from outside of time, which would be space, right? Now that gets deep right there, right? Because we know that the Elohim move in the rest, right? Which is the space in between time. You follow that? So if we look from space, everything will be at the same place at the same time within the same space, you see. So that is why time is an illusion, family. Time is only calculated by events, right? That's why when you have a timeline, they only calculate things by events or structures, right? Really understand that, all right? And if you want to be a smart ass, even the structure is an event, right? Because there's an action. They took action to build it, right? Yeah, that's right. Hey, I love you all, man. Contacts of the one only true Messiah here. We're gonna keep this going. Isn't truth fun? Wadu.